Alrighty, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Season 3, Episode 44 of Hit the Books, the podcast all about sports betting, the best bets you should be taking in everything surrounding sports. This week, we're finally into the dog days of summer. The NHL Stanley Cup Finals has concluded, and we have our winner here for the Stanley Cup. Plus, we continue our NFL Power Rankings, NFL Positional Rankings, our MLB Power Rankings, and much more here this week. Well, let's jump into this week's episode and introduce my co-hosts, Huff, Ace, and Mackie. Ace, what do you got for us here this week? Yet another week here, episode 44. What do you got?
Yeah, you caught me as I'm eating the peanut butter
Sorry.
cracker, so worst timing you could ever have. Out of all snacks, too. I mean, that's like the worst one to have, but we'll labor through it here. Great Stanley Cup Finals we had. Nobody saw that going 7, I think. My bold prediction was the Oilers in 6. I think the boys had 5 or 6 for the Cats, so at least we got 7 out of it, while the NBA, we saw my Celtics just dominate all year long like they've been doing. But yeah, we're in the MLB season now. I'm hyped up for that. We got some other supplemental sports like the UFC, golf, the Olympics coming up. That's pretty exciting too. So I'm ready to get going this week. Ready to go another week here, boys.
Heck yeah, good stuff. Mackie, let's go over to you next. What do you got for us, buddy? Nice to see you.
Yeah, like Ace said, a great Stanley Cup final. We got 7 games out of that. I don't think anyone saw that after a 3-0 start from the Cats, but they get it done in 7. Kachuk gets his ring. Bobrovsky gets his ring, so that was nice to see. But yeah, just full swing MLB now. Not much else going on.
I hear you. Huff, finish it off for us here before we get into this week's episode. What do you got for us?
Yeah, like the boys said, a great Stanley Cup final. Like you said, didn't think we were gonna get 7 games out of that. Glad to see Florida come home with it. I did say last week it would be hilarious if McDavid won the Conn Smythe and lost the cup, and obviously in a heartbreaking fashion in Game 7, he doesn't go out to take the trophy. It's just, I mean, I don't know if I can blame him too much.
I wouldn't
tough
either.
look. A lot of people are giving him shit for it, so me as a Crosby guy, I'm gonna give him shit for it, but Panthers prevail. I mean, it's so hard to lose 4 games in a row, especially when their backs were against a wall at home. You heard Kachuk and what Barkov said. That team was ready come Game 7, and I'm glad to see that Florida came out on top. That was a good game. Great Game 7, too. Yeah, it was an exciting Cup final, especially after what it looked like, what it was going to start like, or how it started, I should say.
Yes, good stuff, Huff. We'll definitely get more into the Stanley Cup final, a little recap here shortly in the episode. But first, we have some dates here coming up that are very important. The NHL Awards here this Thursday at the Sphere in Las Vegas, followed by the NHL Draft Friday and Saturday, also down there at the Sphere in Vegas. In the month of July, we have the MLB the draft, the 14th through the 16th here, as well as the Home Run Derby and the All-Star Game, the 15th through the 16th of July. Where are those at again? I didn't even look that up. I forgot.
That's a good question. That is a good question. Let me look it up real
We've
quick.
definitely talked about it, but I cannot remember.
Is it Cleveland?
Where's the All-Star Game? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, mainly.
I thought it was Houston.
Globe Life Field.
Yeah, it's Houston, I think.
It's Texas.
Arlington, Texas.
Rangers.
Is it because they won the World Series? No, these are determined far in advance. But
yeah, that's a nice stadium.
Yeah, that'll be a
we
fun one
walked
to
right
watch.
past it going to the Cowboys game. Remember how big that place? That looked like a nice stadium.
Yeah, well, they rebuilt it, and the big thing is it really affects the Home Run Derby. I feel like that's like one of the most bet on MLB things throughout the whole year. So we got to check out those dimensions as it gets closer.
Heck yeah. So good stuff there for the Home Run Derby, the MLB draft here. Again, that's so odd it happens mid-year, but just how it goes. And then 71 days till the NFL kickoff here for the NFL regular season. Very, very excited for that one.
It's just over 2 months. That's bearable.
We can do that.
Gotta get
It
through
feels
it.
so much longer than
10 to
that.
11 weeks.
And then you got to remember college football's 2 weeks before that.
And then how many weeks until week 1 of the playoffs? Because that's when Mackey's season ends. Yeah, and you could say
Aren't you
how
a
many
Patriots
weeks.
fan?
Yeah, I know. I knew. Well, 6 rings, buddy. Relax.
Oh, wow. I haven't heard that one before.
He claims the one that Tampa Bay won.
Right?
As well.
It's like engraved in
Yeah,
my
he's like
head.
7 rings. Are you a Tom Brady fan or a Patriots fan? Which one
I don't
is
know.
it?
It's such a tough call. I mean, they're both great. You can't really hate either.
Unreal.
Shout out Bill Belichick.
Alrighty,
by
let's
the way.
get going. What's that?
Shout out Bill Belichick, by the way. Just wanted to give him a quick plug.
Both your guys are gone. You know that.
No,
the
I'm
franchise
saying
is falling apart now.
Hoff knows why I said that. He's got the 24-year-old girlfriend that he was dating, the former cheerleader. Craziness.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Did you see that, Mackie?
Yeah, I did see that actually.
Yeah, he was scouting her
Stud.
out.
Stud.
He helps her with her homework.
Was that one of his top draft picks?
That's literally what they said. That he said, and he's told somebody he was helping her with her homework.
Helping her with her homework.
Gronk alluded to it in the roast of Tom Brady, but now just some funny stuff coming out of there. It's funny to see the those sides of Brady and Belichick now. Everything coming out now that they're not associated with the Patriots
They don't have that second level security that Kraft gave them.
anymore. Yeah, they don't care anymore. There's no remorse. Like they've been holding back for so long. Let it rip now. It's good content. So let them live.
Yeah, I guess. You're not wrong. Okay, well, let's get moving here into this week's episode here, boys. The NFL is going to be our first subject of discussion here today. Top 5 running backs heading into the 2025 NFL season. What are your guys' thoughts? Who wants to get us going here on this one?
I kind of want to go first, but I'm not too confident in this list.
Send it.
But this is how I feel. I'm gonna go 5-1. 5, I have Jonathan Taylor. Number 4, I don't have too much reasoning behind these. I feel like
It's close, dude.
we're getting into the realm of positions where you could truly go any order with some of these guys.
You're right. I was
5, I have Jonathan Taylor. Just that could be because the injury, he missed a year. Number 4, I have Bijan. Number 3, I have Saquon Barkley. Number 2, I have Josh Jacobs. I've always been a big fan of his, the rushing leader. I think 2 years ago, because I think last year was McCaffrey. Now up there with Green Bay, I expect a big year out of him. And then number 1 is McCaffrey.
one's pretty
but
consensus.
like honorable mention, like Derrick Henry, Breece Hall,
I was
Kyron
gonna
Williams.
say-
There's some dogs.
Derrick Henry not being top 5. I mean, I guess it's all pretty close, but
I would take any of those 5 guys over Derrick Henry right now going into this year.
fair. I'll get into mine. I'm gonna go Jonathan Taylor at 5 as well. Number 4, I got Saquon with that offensive line now. Number 3, I got David Montgomery off a really good year. Number 2,
He was
Derrick,
another one. I have Jahmyr Gibbs in my honorable mentions. I was like, they're both so good.
Yeah, number 2, Derrick Henry, and then number 1, obviously, no other answer, Christian McCaffrey.
No Josh Jacobs?
Nah,
Mackie,
like you
Mackie.
said, there's a few guys right there that like even like you said, Jahmyr Gibbs. I got Josh Jacobs right there. I got Kyron Williams right there. But
Yeah, kind of.
I mean, anywhere from like 2 to 8 or 9, I think that you can interchange them, almost all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy to see Jonathan Taylor come back too on both your lists. I have him outside of mine. I'll say that now, but he definitely deserves a top 5 spot if you have him there because of what he's done. But he almost fell flat on his face and was out of stardom for a while. It's great. What a comeback there. I mean, how can you not be good behind that old line?
I think it also
how
helps
young-
the Colts got a young, fun quarterback. They have a good offense to.
You
And
can't
he's
you
still-
can't just
and
stack
he's
the
still
box
so
versus him
young.
anymore.
He's
Yeah.
still so young too, so there's so much upside in his career. That's why I just kind of kept him in that top 5.
Yeah, that is true. He does have a lot of youth. One guy I'd like to give a shout out to that's not in my top 5, who I think is a top 5 running back in the NFL, but I'm really weary on the injury he suffered last year, is Nick Chubb. I'm a huge fan of him too. Love the way he runs. I think he's
I totally forgot about him.
I think he's
forgot about him.
I
as
think he's a
well.
better version of Derrick Henry, kind of. Maybe they're a little bit different, obviously, but I 2 of the top power backs, and he's a do it all. But we got to see how he's going to be off that injury. I mean, that's a crazy one that he suffered, and a lot of running backs don't always bounce back the same, so that'll be important to see. But I'll get into my list here. Pretty crazy because it shifted a lot from last year. If you guys remember our list last year, but at number 5, I have Saquon Barkley. He's cracking my top 5. And I just can't imagine the year he's going to have with the Eagles this year. He's going to go off, especially against those Giants, those revenge games. He's going to go crazy. You see those 1-yard touchdown rushes by Jalen Hurts. He's been getting hurt now, too. So you bring in a guy like Barkley, he's going to get the job done. We saw how good Swift was. And now think about a guy who's a way better talent in Saquon Barkley. At number 4, I'm going to go with Josh Jacobs there. I want to see how he does on this new team, right? He got the ball a lot out there in Vegas or Oakland, however you want to call it, because they didn't have too many weapons on the outside. But now he's got a solid 2. I think they still have Dylan and a couple other young guys there in Green Bay with him. And I'm excited to see him go with this new offense. And I know LaFleur is going to add him in pretty quickly. At number 3, I'm gonna go with a crazy one here to throw up the list. I'm gonna go with Kyron Williams. I think he has a huge year. I don't know if you guys saw his quote today. He said, "If I'm not first, I'm last." So he's really coming for that top spot in a Sean McVay. Yeah, in a Sean McVay led offense. The sky is the limit with him. We saw him jump onto the scene last year. I think he's only going to keep growing. LA's got a great structure out there, good veterans, good coaching. He's going to only get better in his young career. At number 2, I'm going to go with Derek Henry. I think he's been slacking over the years. If Nick Chubb's healthy, like I said, this whole list might be changed differently. But I need a heavy power back, true running back in that top 5. I'm going to put him at 2 because he's still the best to do it until he falls off the king. Get your respect here, and let's see what you can do with the Ravens. If he's not back to elite production with Lamar Jackson, then maybe we would start writing him off. But he's going to get his touchdowns at least. And at number 1, consensus, Christian McCaffrey. Guy led my card in plays last year, probably in units as well, as I rode that touchdown streak in the Niners. But do it all back, versatile through the air and on the ground. You can give him 30-plus touches a game. He'll put up multiple scores as well. When he's healthy, he's the best in the league by far. So got to have him there.
Solid picks all around, boys. It seems like 5 is a tough number there for those running backs. Picking just the top 5.
I boosted Kyron pretty high there, but I think Saquon, like Mackie said, there's a lot of, top 7 you'd say that's pretty interchangeable.
Yeah.
If I would have remembered Nick Chubb, he would have been at 5 for me.
Yeah, but how do you think coming off this injury?
Man, he was so explosive. That was all that was his big thing, was how explosive he was. Yeah, coming off that injury, you might see a tough comeback, especially in his first year. But coming off going into last year, he was definitely like top 2, top 3.
Yeah, Mackie, and here's the other thing. I agree with your take right there about the explosiveness and the injury, but neither of us would be surprised. I think I can speak for you here too, to see him jump right back up to be as good as he was.
Absolutely not.
So hopefully he gets a quick recovery because how tight does that division get if you get a healthy Nick Chubb back into that Browns offense? I mean, division's already super tight, but another juggernaut piece for that team.
I mean, yeah, he's definitely a top 5 running back when healthy, but that was a fucking gross injury. So yeah, we'll have to see how he comes back from it.
Is Najee Harris near the list? No, not even near it.
This year.
Maybe Jalen Warren's closer to the top 5 than him.
No, dude, we actually have a good offensive line.
Give me Jalen Warren over Najee Harris. I'm telling you that right now. I'd take Jalen Warren over Najee Harris any day.
Steelers didn't pick up the 5th-year option on Najee, so I think they're just going to run him into the ground this year and save Warren and pay him.
Yeah, that's craziness. Another guy that fell out of our top 5, though, that some people have still in their rankings. So I was looking before. I always do to compare mine to other people's lists. And Austin Eckler, some people had him as high as 6. I don't think he's that high at all. I think he fell off a cliff. But we'll have to see how he does in Washington.
Around 10.
New team, maybe that'll get him going again, juice his legs, and he's one of those guys that hears the haters. So he finally got his paycheck. Let's see what he can do.
That's like low-key a fun little team in Washington.
Yep, Jaden Daniels with Austin Eckler. He's going to dump it to him all game, and then you have good outside targets. McLaurin, Dotson, and some other young guys there too.
Who's their tight end? They have a good tight end.
Do they?
Logan Thomas.
He's always on the shelf, though.
Yeah, but when he plays, he's good.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. But no, some good lists. Running backs. DeAndre Swift not cracking anybody's list. David Montgomery, I think he was the NFL touchdown leader last year, right? He didn't.
I had him at 3.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point, Mackie. Way to add him in there for that. Who do you think's better, though, him or Gibbs? I know you have him in your top 5, but
you'd take Gibbs going into the future just because he's younger.
What about this season, though? If you had to pick one for your team, like what talent would you take? Mackie, you're a running back heavy team. Montgomery's solidified, solid on the ground, but Jahmyr Gibbs do it all, and he has that flashy playmaking ability.
Yeah, I'd probably go with, I don't know, dude. Jahmyr Gibbs is such a stud, but they're both really good. I think they both complement each other so well, so it's hard to choose, but
add one to Dallas right now. Give it a pick.
Demont.
I'd take Gibbs.
Demont's so safe, though, and he's a true running back. That's the one thing I think the Cowboys are really missing, too, is that true running back that you can pound the rock with.
But he wasn't what he was last year before he got to Detroit.
But think about the quarterback he had. They didn't throw the ball really very well at all.
Yeah.
He's also in Chicago.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. They stack the box every play against Fields and Montgomery.
It's that's like Saquon's deflated numbers over in New York. Like you expect him to kind of go off this year with a good offensive line and a good team for once.
But here's one counterpoint to that, to Huff's theory here. What about Jamal Williams? We saw him. He was a one-year wonder, led the league in touchdowns to the Detroit Lions, and then he was a bust the year after going to New Orleans. I know that David Montgomery stays in that offense, but I don't know if his ceiling is much higher. Is his ceiling much higher? No, but I feel like he'll still be a solid producer on that team. I think Gibbs does outwork him this year, but they might be playing it safe too with him. They gave him that high draft stock to get Gibbs. We see the injuries to the running backs. You want to keep the tread on tires, so it's nice to have a guy like Demont that you can wear down. But there's a lot of good names. My boy Ramondre. I know we're about to get to that point, as Jesse's going to say it, but
I like him.
Yeah, get into that point, Jesse. I want to talk about that one and see what we think.
Yeah, our next point here, the Patriots, Aces New England Patriots spend a little bit more of the massive cap space they have remaining by extending Ramondre Stevenson for 4 years with the way the running back market is nowadays. Is this a good move? What are you guys thinking?
I think this is a good deal from a outside fan. Obviously, Ace, I think you like it as a Patriots fan, but Ace, I was actually your brother texted me about a fantasy like keeper league, and he was like, "I can keep any two of these. Who would you keep?" And I literally, I hit some good players on his list,
Mhm.
and I think Ramondre is going to be a good fantasy player this year, just because whether they go with Brissett or Drake May, I think he's going to be a consistent option on the ground. And I mean, now you got him locked up for what? Is it 4 more years or is it like
A 4-year contract extension. So I think this was his last year of his deal. So we technically have him for 5 more, right?
yeah?
Yeah. And
I mean, either way, he's
17 million
going through
guaranteed.
his prime.
17 guaranteed. So that's over four. That's about 4.5 a year. 36 million on the full contract extension. That's pretty high for a running back. And growing up as a Bill Belichick follower, right, my whole life, I would never believe in paying a running back this much money, extending him this much. I would just draft another one. But the
Yeah,
tread,
that's not even a lot of money.
no, it's not. But when it comes, if he gets that max full contract, it is pretty expensive for a top running. He has to produce like a top running back to get that money, in my opinion. Um, I'm a big fan of
Well,
him. I don't know if he's worth that much though. It's kind of a crazy move to me.
I just think that the Patriots aren't doing anything in the next 5 years, so you're paying a running back to just kind of put numbers up.
Yeah, they're just
I
paying
don't
him
think.
because they can.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, but I don't
I think it's
understand.
good. I think it's a good option. Like, I mean,
But for what though? Just for him to have good numbers? Like they're not. He's
you
not gonna.
you have to pay guys. Like, you have to have guys
You
on
have to
your
pay
team.
somebody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, but pay the guys that are gonna, make your team better. I don't think a running back is gonna make that team
That's the
what they
thing that
need to
I'm saying
be.
though. I think it's so unknown with Ramondre Stevenson. His whole career, the Patriots have a dual threat
that's four
backfield.
million a year, Mac. Yeah, that's not a lot.
That's the low. That's the guarantee.
Yeah,
But
it's not. It's not a lot.
it's up to 9 million a year. Up to 9 that he could earn. That's pretty expensive.
9 a
You have
year
a
for a running
you have
back,
a
like for
rookie
Ramondre
quarterback and a
Stevenson, is
veteran on a
crazy.
veteran minimum.
That's what I'm saying, Mackie. So we'll have to see. But the thing that we have to think about is I don't know. People in New England love gassing up Ramondre Stevenson. As we go into the fantasy season, I'm sure you guys see that too as outside fans. People blowing up Ramondre Stevenson, saying he's going to be great in fantasy, have a great production season. And under Bill Belichick, we always ran that tandem running back. He had split the backfield with Damian Harris. He split it with Ezekiel Elliott. All these other mouths to feed. I know we brought in Antonio Gibson, who's going to be good on the ground. And we also lost Mac Jones. So maybe with a better quarterback, Ramondre eats more, and he's shown flashes of being a great running back, but maybe he puts it all together. I don't know. I think it's a buy low type of candidate thing, but I mean, we have the money to spend, so why not? Just crazy on a running back, spending on a running back. Surprise.
You guys are just in a tough spot in your division.
Yeah, we'll see. Division's kind of falling apart though. Jets have to win like right now, or else I don't know what
You
they're
guys
gonna
need,
do.
and Christian Gonzalez comes back this year. I don't think the Patriots will be as bad as you think, Mackie.
Top defense in the league, and then they have a top 3 pick at quarterback. So hopefully he can in the next 1 to 3 years really get going. But the other thing is too, like those Jets, they're literally in win right now mode. The Bills falling apart.
Yeah.
That Bills roster is depleted going into the year, and then the Dolphins are a good team, but I don't know if Tua can
I
win a
don't think
big one.
I don't think the Bills are ever gonna do anything.
Yeah, like did Josh Allen already go as far as he can? He's a great talent though.
I-
We all had him at number 2 in our power quarterback rankings.
I
Dude, he already
definitely
had
never
to-
had him at number 2.
Oh, you weren't on that pod though. That's fine.
I
Yeah,
would never have Josh Allen at number 2.
But you would have had him in your top 5.
Yeah, he's probably 3 or 4.
Yeah, but still, regardless, I'm
Alright.
saying he's a yeah.
Yeah, but you're not getting over 1 or 2. That's it's clear. Like 1 and 2, and then there's like 3, 4, 5.
I don't
That
know.
makes
Huff and I were consensus 2 for 2. We both had him
I
at
don't
2.
know. He's been deep in the playoffs a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And anybody not named Mahomes is the same resume, basically.
Not Joe Burrow.
Matt
Burrow,
Stafford.
the only thing Burrow's done is lost in a
Yeah.
You're
Super
just
Bowl.
you're
And
just
to
a
use
hater of
Mackey's
Joe
quote
Burrow,
from the
bro.
Boston Celtics. No, we both had Burrow at 3.
No,
But to use your
no,
quote
Huff's
from the
a hater of
Celtics,
Burrow.
you
No, I
need
just,
to.
I bet if you look at their records, their playoff records,
They're pretty
I
similar.
bet Josh Allen has more playoff wins for sure.
Josh Allen has a lot more experience. He's been in the league an extra 2-3 years.
And Joe Burrow can't stay on the field though. So we'll have to
take
see.
that into
We
account.
talked about this before, but Mackie, I'm going to use the Celtics championship chirp you used against me before they got there early in the playoffs for Joe Burrow. Doesn't matter till he gets that ring. Him and Josh Allen are at the same level, and if he's pretty injured, it's going to be my Nick Chubb scenario. That's why I had him down at the 3 spot. But I
Fair.
think Burrow has the ability to be better than Josh Allen. Yes.
Tomorrow on your team, who do you want, Josh Allen or Joe Burrow?
I don't know. He's coming off the injury, dude. A second injury.
When Josh Allen was sitting at 7-8 in the regular season last year, it was just like such a different conversation. Then he goes on a little bit of a run. He plays better football, and it's just everyone forgets about the 30 interceptions that he throws in a season.
No, I'm willing to live with those though. Especially after watching Mac Jones as my quarterback, I would take Josh Allen in a heartbeat. He's a do-it-all, and he fills gaps for. You don't need a run game when you have Josh Allen. They haven't had a running back in years. You don't need all these pieces. Joe Burrow, he's lost a ton of pieces. This is a big prove-it year for Joe Burrow because he's coming off an injury and he lost a lot of weapons, especially his lead running back, Joe Mixon. So it's going to be telling how good he is. I know he went to the Bowl early on, but got to stay on the field and do some more than that. Do either of them ever get a ring, though? I don't know. We'll see. Patrick Mahomes got to get by him. And you could argue Lamar's over both of them, too, Mackie. You missed that podcast, but.
Alrighty, let's keep it moving here. Brandon Ayuk, the latest NFL wide receiver to pull off some diva antics. Do we think the rising stars dealt from the powerhouse that is San Francisco, or can they figure out a way to keep him aboard? What are you guys thinking here?
I really want the Steelers to just make a trade for him, but supposedly there was a trade with the with Washington on the draft day or whatever that was proposed and then shut down by Washington. They didn't say what they were asking for, or at least I didn't see it, but I'd love him to be a Steeler, and there's obviously the rumors of that, so I'd like that to get done, but I don't know at what point, if at all, it will.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's going to get moved. I really don't. If he did, he would have been moved already by now. It's just classic wide receiver drama. But then as soon as the San Francisco 49ers are eating again this season, he's having a solid season. He's not going to be running his mouth, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't see why he would want to get moved at the end of the day. I mean, you're in one of the best offenses, probably the best team, definitely the best team.
He wants to get paid.
He wants to get talked about too, though. That's the other thing, because he thinks he's a top end receiver and he's not treated like one. He's like, they don't.
I think a lot of people look at him as a one now.
No, I know, I agree that, but they don't look at him to be like a top 5 or even a top 10 wide receiver in the league when you go down the list. And he thinks if he goes on his own, gets his bag, then he can be that guy, I think.
Yeah, I think he could definitely be top 10. I don't think top 5, but he's definitely right there.
Yeah, I'd like him to be a Steeler. That's my thoughts.
It was just funny when they were talking about moving Debo so much, then it's Ayuk, and nobody gets dealt. I was like, Kyle Shanahan's like, why is everybody saying this shit? Like, I have 2 great receivers that fit in my offense perfectly. Like, let's just keep them.
Alrighty, boys. Lots of good stuff there out of the NFL. Again, just 71 days until NFL kickoff, so lots to look forward to as we keep getting closer and closer to that with our positional rankings each week and so on. Moving over to the NHL here, the Florida Panthers have defeated the Edmonton Oilers in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals to secure their first Stanley Cup in franchise history. The Edmonton Oilers' Captain Connor McDavid won the Conn Smythe despite losing the series. Final thoughts. What's your recap? What are you guys thinking about this series here, ending in 7? What do you got?
I think that the better team won at the end of the day. I think the Oilers gave it all they got. They fell into a hole in the first 3 games. Easily could have won 1 or 2 of those first 3 games, but they didn't. And then they played really good hockey for the next 4. They just couldn't get it done. They couldn't win 4 straight against the best team in the league, and that makes sense. But props to Florida. I mean, they played great the entire season. They had an unreal run in the playoffs. Almost fell short, but that team has so much heart. Bobrovsky came to play in that Game 7. He played great, and the beginning of that series kind of fell off during those 3 losses. But when it comes down to it, obviously he ended up playing really well, only allowing 1 goal in a Game 7. Kachuk getting the job done. Obviously, I don't know if he had all the points in this playoff run, but he definitely had his presence felt. The big names, I think Barkov and Reinhart scored in Game 7, so those big guys stepped up, and McDavid and Draisaitl were held scoreless. So
Game 6 and 7 for McDavid.
They eliminated McDavid in Game 7, though. They eliminated him. That's how you got to do it. I'm surprised they didn't do it in the earlier games of the series, but Draisaitl getting put into the Barkov clamps. What was it, Barkov and Forsling when they were out there? They held the
Forsling, yeah.
Kucherov,
Forsling had an unbelievable playoff run, and it goes unnoticed because he doesn't put up the points. But he had the best stay-at-home defenseman performance I've seen throughout an entire playoffs, I think, ever. That was incredible.
And he's a skilled guy. You want to know what was crazy to me as I was looking through that championship roster? I've seen these posts here and there with certain guys, like when they got into the league and when they left. those defensemen they have, they were all very skilled at one point, and they're all very experienced, 10 plus years in the league. A lot of them, guys like Kulikov and Forsling as your depth defenseman with Ekblad and Montour, and a few other names out there on their point. It's just tough. That's such a deep team. We talked about all year. They were roster loaded. They were ready to go. I mean, kudos to the Oilers for pushing them to the brink. But we feel like I feel like we all knew this was going to happen, and Bobrovsky gets the job done. Didn't get that MVP. If they swept, maybe he would have. He fumbled the bag by losing those 3 games. But I can't blame
With like an 800 save percentage.
Mackie. Mackie, does this change your opinion on the Oilers at all? Because you remember when you were talking about them not getting out of the second round.
Definitely. My whole entire thing was that they do this every year and they can never get over that hump. They got over the hump. They were there. They were a lick away from a Stanley Cup. It just didn't fall. The cards didn't fall in their favor, obviously. But this changes my opinion 1,000%. But then again, what kind of team you're going to bring back? You're going to bring back the same team. I still think that they still need that goalie, even though they didn't really need it this year.
It would have been nice.
The run that they went on, McDavid had one of the best playoff runs we've ever seen. So,
and he didn't even play as good as he could either. Imagine
they can get over that hump. They
Yeah.
can definitely do it. But I think they have to make a few changes. Darnell Nurse on a $9 million deal is just brutal. So maybe they could do something with him and move some money around. But McDavid can do it all alone. He's kind of proved that.
I think it's going to be the McDavid story, the same way the Planters story unfolded. That Paul Maurice's group needed to get 1 year of the experience under the belt, lose last year and win this year. I don't think McDavid and the Oilers win it next year, but I think the next time we see Connor McDavid in a Stanley Cup, he should win, right? That's my guess at least. But I got to give credit to Paul Maurice. Hate that guy as a coach, especially as an opponent. That team's been handling the East for 2 years in a row now, and they've been really good, winning the President's Trophy the year prior to those last 2. After he almost hung him up after coaching with Winnipeg, he went down to Florida and he didn't have any cup experience going there, but now he's got a championship under his belt. I don't know how much longer he has, but that guy, he's locked in, and the way he runs his team, you can see the bench. They all have the same mindset. They're all kind of nasty. He's got that nasty in him. He loves it. He applauds it, and he's for the boys like big time. So kudos to him and that whole lineup. Matty Tkachuk getting one. He's a beast. I hate playing against him, but I'm a big fan of his game, and well deserved. Bobrovsky too. A lot of guys that deserve cups. Even guys like Kyle Okposo that they brought in at the deadline. I know they brought in Okposo and Tarasenko, but those veterans like that getting cups is nice to see. Florida.
I didn't realize Tarasenko, 2-time Cup winner now.
Who's his first one
Yeah,
was with the
he won
Blues.
with the OG.
Yeah.
With his OGs in 2019.
Yeah, I mean, Florida Panthers, they've been due, though. That was the 3rd Stanley Cup, I believe, and they finally got their ring. Roberto Luongo also grabbed the ring for the first time as a part of their management, so I was pretty happy to see that because I'm a big fan of his, but I loved beating him when he was in it as a player. But yeah, I mean, that Florida Panthers team, wow. That team was a gong show, and they finally ran into some pressure, but they still got the job done, and they never really lost their focus. I don't know if you guys were reading those quotes leading up to Game 7. They were all dialed in, living a good life, not worried or shook at all. So they had the mindset to do it.
Yeah, no, like Mackie said, I think the better team won, and it's always cool to see the team win it on home ice. So that was fun to see, and them jumping it. You saw Kachuk jump in the ocean with it, going bar to bar. They've been having a good time down there. Obviously, I love seeing all the celebration videos. But did you see the one of them dumping? They had the entire top of the cup filled, and they dumped it off to
At
the
the
first
elbow
level.
room.
At the elbow room, and they
Yeah.
they dumped it on this dude, and his hat and glasses just come flying off his head, dude. It was so funny.
Off basis, but OG Anunoby just signed 5 years, $212 million with the Knicks.
212 million.
Jeez. What's money?
Dude, that's crazy.
Money's not an object in the NBA. It's just ridiculous.
Again,
Damn.
they're good, Huff.
That's crazy. What is that, Mackie? 50-something million a year? 40-something?
No, it's less than 50. It's like probably 40.
Wait, would you say 212 for 5 years?
Yeah, 42 a year.
It's like 30-some a year, isn't it?
42.
Crazy stuff here out of the NHL. Game 7 there. Lots of good stuff out of that series, out of this year's, the whole season as a whole. And we'll be back talking about NHL here in a couple weeks. Moving forward here, the Ottawa Senators have acquired goalie Linus Ullmark from the Boston Bruins, sending forward Mark Kostelic, goalie Honus Corpuzalo, and 2024 first-round pick back to Boston. What are you guys thinking here, Ace? Your Bruins making a move here with Ullmark included. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we all knew this move was coming. It was only a matter of time, and we heard that Ottawa's deal kept getting upped and up. I know Ottawa retained some of that Corpusalo cap room, so we were able to create almost 2 million in cap. We have like 25 going into next year, so it's going to be nice. Got to give Swayman that bag, and then get a couple more options up front to load around Pasternak and the rest of the crew. So I think that was a good move, and we've been moving those assets throughout the last few years at the trade deadline, especially those first round picks, bringing in some big names, guys like Hampus Lindholm. Using it to get a bunch of other scores on our team as well. But Olmark, shout out to him. Got that Vezina. Tough ending to his Vezina campaign in that first round to those Panthers. Were pretty pesky. The one thing that I am pretty mad about, and I know it came down to the Olmark no trade clause that really nixed it in the middle of the year, was that we didn't move him at his all-time high, which was at the trade deadline this year. Would have gotten a lot more of a return, but I'll still take what we can get. And I know Ottawa's getting a stud in Olmark, so they might be contending a little bit more than they have been previous years. But sad to see him go. No more goalie hugs, but it's going to be Jeremy Swayman's crease, and I'm so hyped to see that. Corpusalo, very, very good backup. I wouldn't be surprised if they dealt him. Just turn around and move him out. We have a good prospect in Brandon Bussey. Bruins always have good goaltending prospects in the system. So if you can move Corpusalo and keep the deals moving, Sweeney, I wouldn't be surprised if he does that. Did it with Martin Jones almost a decade ago now. So I mean, that's what it is, and I'm ready to see Swayman take over the crease and maybe get his Vezina chance to make a push for it. You could hear what you guys think about this Olmark deal.
I think it's a good move. Do you wish you got a little more for him?
Yeah, that's like
I mean,
the big narrative around, but
the only problem with the whole thing is that everyone and their mothers knew he was leaving. So you were looking to deal him.
Mhm.
Everyone knew that, so they weren't going to offer you more than what they needed to.
Yeah, it's like
I mean, like Ace said,
retained some cap. That was the main thing there.
the
Yeah.
time to sell was at the deadline, and
They tried
they
to,
held-
and he held them up twice. I think it was a deal with the Hurricanes and a deal with the LA Kings were both shot down by his no trade clause. So I think even this summer going into it, he had a list of only 12 or 14 teams on his trade list. So Bruins only had they were dealt the hand they had to play the hand they were dealt. And Mac, you're right. Everybody knew they were selling at that point, so you couldn't really up the bargain too much. But I'll take a first round pick. I'll take a good backup goalie, and that's an asset you can move. I'll take more cap space, and then I'll take a depth forward too.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely not a bad move for the Bruins.
And I think he still plays elite hockey. He's going to be good up there in Ottawa. One of the top goalies in the league. I mean, now that he's off the Bruins, now we can feel more comfortable putting him and Swayman both in the top 10. I know a lot of people get a little finicky when you see two of the same logo in the top 10, but they both deserve to be there.
Yeah, overall, great move there by the Bruins. In my opinion, Corpusalo, solid. Can't really complain about him. And another first-round pick there to keep building, like you said. Moving forward here, the 2024 Hockey Hall of Fame inductees have been announced. The list consists of Shea Weber, Jeremy Roenick, Pavel Datsuk, Natalie Darwitz, Chrissy Weldon-Pole, David, I think it's Poli, and Colin Campbell. What are you guys thinking about these names here? Getting into the Hockey Hall of Fame this year. Some good names for sure. What do you think?
yeah, I've always big Datsuk guy,
me too.
and
Roenick's a beast too. I mean, growing up,
Yeah.
what was he, 97 was his number, I want to say.
Yeah.
He was a dog though, and then we saw him on the air too. Didn't he work on NHL and TNT maybe?
I
Remember?
love Datsuk. I just loved that Red Wings team when I was younger. Zetterberg was always my favorite, but Datsuk was the shootout moves were unreal.
What's his nickname? The Magician Datsuk?
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy was insane. That's why I mirrored my game after. Like you, Huff, I was a lefty growing up, and he was the big time skill guy before. We have everybody in the league being a skill guy, but he was insane, well deserved, and he was great in the Olympics, great in Stanley Cups, has the rings, has all the accolades. So only a matter of time, and it's well deserved for him to be there. Shea Weber too, though. That guy was a dog. You remember him ripping those clap bombs in the
Yeah.
OG NHL All Star games, and then holding on the blue line for the Preds, those big hits, and then still doing it with the Canadians too. He went to another cup with the
Yep.
Canadians and lost, but.
Yeah.
What, did he lose 2 cups? Did he lose to you guys when you beat the Preds?
Subban was on the Preds when we lost.
Oh,
he was
right.
a Canadian, I think.
Yeah, they traded him straight up for each other. Great career though. That guy was massive. He's like the right-handed Chara almost.
Yeah, just not as big. Remember them going head to head every year in the hardest shot?
Yeah, that was insane. Like must-watch TV. But Datsuk, Roenick, Weber, those are my headliners on it. Everybody else definitely well deserved too. I know that it's tough to get into the Hockey Hall of Fame, so that's exciting news.
Yeah, lots of good stuff there as we reviewed the Hockey Hall of Fame inductees. And next up here, Macklin Celebrini's been all the talk here with the NHL draft coming up this weekend. You guys have any thoughts on him or what may happen here at the draft this weekend?
You guys are the prospect hockey guys. Who would like the top 3 picks?
I
Who are they
actually
going
don't
to? Who's the
know.
order?
I
Who's the
don't know
first
a
pick?
ton about this draft at all. I just know Macklin Celebrini is a dog, and
There's
I
a good
watched him
number
a
2
a
pick
good amount
too.
at BU this year. He's one of the best players
Who
in
is the
college
first
hockey
pick?
this year.
It's
San
the
Jose.
yeah.
Who?
San Jose. That's
The
where Macklin
Sharks.
Celebrini's
The
going.
Sharks, didn't they get 2 top 10 picks as well?
I don't know. I have no idea. When's that draft?
Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, a lot of the guys, the next few picks Huff are coming from overseas. I know the guy Zeev Buim, I've heard of him before. So it'll be interesting to see. But Sharks, maybe they can rebuild around Celebrini. He's been so hyped up for years to come. I know that next year's draft class is a little bit more exciting with Tish Ginla and a couple of other big names coming into it. But Macklin Celebrini is supposed to be a top end talent. He's so young too, and we saw how great he did in the NCAA in his first year there. We saw him in the World Juniors and whatnot. He's just going to be electric. And he's going to have a big year. I think he's going to have an automatic path to the Calder Trophy for Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to be a stud for sure.
In the weakest division in hockey too. So.
Alrighty, keep it moving here. Some new jerseys have been announced here for this year. Fanatics taking over all the jerseys, but the Anaheim Ducks and Los Angeles Kings have dropped new jerseys. Has anyone had a chance to look at them? I included some pictures in the
I saw
outline.
Huff and I
these
would talk about the
Kings
orange ones.
These Kings ones are filthy, I think.
I agree.
Me and Jesse were saying before, these Ducks ones are nice. They're just a little too poppy for me. But I do like them. I mean, it's
Here's
orange.
what I think.
Orange is a tough color scheme to go in the NHL, but they're doing all right with it.
Here's what I
Yeah.
think about the Ducks ones. I like them for a team that's not the team that I root
A team that sucks. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a team
like
that sucks. This is a great jersey for a team.
It's going to be
Yeah,
good for the
great
Trevor
jersey.
Zagras highlights if he doesn't get traded.
That's a
And
great way to put it.
what's
You
his
don't wanna-
name? Cutter Gauthier. He's got to stay in the orange too. He wanted to leave the orange and the
The-
Flyers. Now he gets to play in it.
You
But
don't want to
white-
see. You don't want to see a team with these jerseys in the Stanley Cup. I'll tell you that.
On that graphic that's in the note right there, look at for the Ducks jerseys. The white looks 10 times better than the orange.
Really, I
Yeah,
think the
yeah, I
orange
agree.
looks better.
I like the white too because, dude, too much orange is just too much.
And it has a white
I
helmet.
think the
I
orange
like
is
how it has a
fire, but
white
I agree
helmet.
with you. It looks like a third jersey, an alternate.
Yeah, the whites look. The whites.
But I
look
do
seized.
really like the number lettering, like the font on the numbers for the Ducks is clean on the back. That logo, the Anaheim Mighty Ducks logo.
They should have went
get
back
me
to
with
the
that every
jerseys
time.
they won the cup in. You think they'd do something like that?
Go back to the purple, like John Sebastian Jaguar.
Purple and like
No,
olive
no,
green.
Like
no,
quack,
no,
quack,
no.
quack.
Yeah.
No. I mean, like the Getzlaff, Bobby Ryan.
Oh, that
Corey Perry.
orange?
Oh,
Nah,
okay.
that was lame though. I hate it. You want just the big D on your chest? You want the Anaheim Mighty Ducks?
No, that's the one that said Ducks. It said Ducks.
Oh, Anaheim Ducks across
Those
the
are
little
ugly,
stick under
though.
it. Yeah, I didn't like.
Those are
Give
gross.
me the Anaheim Mighty Ducks logo every single time. I think in our top NHL jerseys, I had the OG one in there. But then, did you guys notice on the Kings thing? Their big thing was that they're doing the matte black helmets.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah,
They
I like
look
that
bit-
too.
I don't know. They
I don't know.
look
I
kinda
gotta
like
see it.
helmets.
I hated
We'll
the
see-
gold. I hated the chrome and all that bullshit. So
You'll have
I
to
don't know.
see it in action. Honestly,
I didn't care for the
but-
chrome.
yeah.
Yeah, they go from chrome to matte. So they're just trying something out here.
They're trying all ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, clearly, but
The
I
white,
like-
the white Kings is clean. It just reminds me of the Gretzky Kings. These jerseys.
Yeah.
good way
Exactly.
to put it.
But back to the Ducks jerseys real quick. I also don't love the font for their names and the numbers.
The numbers are. I like the numbers though.
It looks like
I
an
mean,
EASHL uniform. But
I
do
think
like
every team's going to have some sort of knick-knack like that because Fanatics is taking over this year. So we're going to see the whole MLB debacle happen with all the jerseys just peeling apart. And
That'd be funny, especially in the
Wait,
NHL.
it's not
gonna be
Someone's
good.
in a fight. You rip their jersey.
I do not recommend buying one of these
Just
jerseys.
rips in half.
Nope, that's why I'm happy. I got my Bruins alternate Centennial jersey. They retired those now, and Fanatics took over. So I got the gold authentic Marchand from the Pro Shop. Best jersey I've ever
It's
bought.
an Adidas one.
Yep. Yeah, literally the authentic like one. I think it was like 2 change.
Yeah.
with the C sewed in. The gold, that Bruins Centennial Gold, never see that again. So goodbye for sure. Waiting until Fanatics is out before I buy another NHL jersey.
Lots of good stuff, boys, out of the NHL. Moving into the NBA. The 2024 NBA draft starts tonight here, 8 p.m. Eastern on ABC. The Atlanta Hawks with that first pick of the for this year's draft. What are you guys thinking here going into the draft tonight?
I
Yeah,
don't
this
even
is
know
like
the
one of the
top
worst
prospects.
draft. This is like one of the worst drafts we've seen in a while. There's no consensus number one pick. It's looking to be that. What's that guy's
I
name, Huff?
the Richasse
Yeah,
what
yeah. And then 2 and 3 are supposed to be Klingon and that guy
Alex
Alex
Sarr.
Sarr. But
Now, dude, I just saw one. Now they said some guy just posted an updated one. They have Klingon going 7 or 6 to the Hornets.
yeah, they're all over the place
Nobody
with this
knows.
draft. There's no, they
I
don't.
but
man.
like
You
I
got-
kind of like that. Like normally drafts, you're like know the order, you know where everyone's going. I kind of like this kind of draft where it's like you have no clue where these people are going.
that
you
part's
actually wanna
fun, but at
watch
the end
and
of the
see.
day, it just shows a lack of
Talent.
talent. Yeah,
Is
I
that
don't
what
know
it
that-
is? It's
it's
Dude, I
a
definitely
lack
think
of
like
talent.
Well,
it's
there's no
definitely a lack
exciting
of
players. A
talent.
lot of the
Yeah.
top picks are
I'm looking-
college big men, right?
the main reason I'm watching this is because obviously I'm rooting for the I want the Spurs to get a nice piece. They have 2 picks in the top 8, so I'm probably just gonna watch the top 10 picks and then forget about it. But
Spurs should draft
Klingon,
Stephon Castle.
Stephon Castle.
Is
There's a
Edie
European guy,
going
can't
top
remember his
5?
name, and then Don't Connect. No, Edie's supposed to go let me see, I'll remember, maybe 14th to the Blazers or 19th to the Raptors. I think I saw one of those.
I think he's gonna go earlier than you think.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch this. I'm definitely gonna watch this draft. I have it on right now, the pre-draft show or whatever. I think it's a requirement if you're getting drafted in the NBA, you have to wear a chain outside of your dress shirt. Every single guy does it.
The new NBA.
That's fucking good.
Yeah, it should be interesting tonight though. See how this order goes. Nobody really knows exactly how it's going to go, but should be fun.
Awesome stuff. Next point here out of the NBA. The Knicks made a big splash early in the offseason by shipping off a boatload of picks to strengthen the Nova Knicks as they bring in Mikal Bridges from the Nets. Here, was that yesterday or today? Mackie, what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I like the move. I think that they gave up a good amount, and I don't think he's. Well, I don't want to say he's not worth all that because first round picks go like it's nothing in the NBA. But
You
I'm
guys
excited
paid
for it.
more for him because of what the upside for you was more in their eyes. I feel like the Knicks or the Nets had more of a the high seat there because they knew the Knicks wanted Mikal Bridges so bad,
Yeah.
and it's your crosstown
But
rival. They're not just
the
going to give
Knicks-
them to you.
The Knicks also they still have draft picks. They still have 5 picks in the next 3 years.
No,
So it's not like they
I
gave
know.
everything
But
up.
if the Nets
that's why-
rebuild with these picks though, and it turns into a plethora of
The
players,
Nets ain't
and
doing shit, man. The Nets can't draft. They have no their front office.
Mackie,
sucks.
do you think this move gets you guys over the hump and gets you past the Indiana Pacers in the East?
Dude, we're past the Indiana
Love
Pacers. We were
saying the
banged
Pacers.
up. banged up.
Nemhart really just you got to bring in Bridges
Yeah.
to take him and Halliburton out. They give Siakam that big deal. I mean, that's just a tough team to be the 3rd team in the East is not an easy task. And Embiid will
Yeah,
will get healthy.
Yeah.
So
After you're done being a dickhead, I'll get going. But I think the only team that we're really chasing now is the Celtics in the East. I think that even with the signing of OG, if OG, Julius Randle, if they all stay healthy, we're easily at least a 2 seed in the East. I don't think we can compete with you guys just yet. I think there
Dude,
could
I
be a
think
you're
we
writing
can.
off Gian. Why is everybody writing off Giannis so quick though?
I'm not writing off Giannis. I just think the Knicks are better.
Really? I'll see. I
think
gotta
the
see a
Knicks are
healthy.
the Knicks are now deeper than that Bucks team for sure.
No, I know, but I
Knicks
just
are
think
deep, and they
Giannis
have a
is like
bench,
that.
too.
I think a healthy Giannis is that good that he doesn't even need that much help. But
I think the East is just when he won his ring, I think that the East was a lot worse. There wasn't as much to worry about. The Celtics weren't getting over that hump. The Sixers are the Sixers, and the Knicks weren't there. And I think that now Sixers are going to get a little better. The Knicks are up there now, and the Celtics finally got over that hump to learn how to win. So I think that the Bucks need more, and I don't think Dame's giving it to them. I don't think they have the supporting role players as well, which is everything in the NBA now. It's all about who you have supporting your big stars.
Mhm.
So I think that the Knicks they're making all the right moves. They're doing what they need to. I think that they think now, them signing OG right now to 5 years, $212 million, makes me think that they think that this team can win a championship.
How much
So
more
I
room do
think
they have to get anybody else? Because Huff, you were saying you don't think they're done and they need to make another move.
well, the thing is they're gonna get rid of Hartenstein. They can't pay him anymore. So we're gonna have Mitchell Robinson at the 5.
Who can't stay
But
on
we
the
have a
floor?
bench too. We have a bench too. Well, we can't stay on the floor when Joel Embiid's stepping on his fucking leg when he's on the ground. Yeah, it's a little tough.
No, but I feel like the last few years though, I always liked Mitchell Robinson, even when you guys weren't that good. But isn't he pretty injury prone?
He's not like I mean, he's a big man. Every big man gets hurt, but he's not that like he's less
Is
injury prone.
Deuce
He's less injury
is
prone than
Deuce
like Joel
McBride
Embiid.
under contract? He's my Nick.
Yeah, the Juice is still under contract, but obviously I think he's on a rookie deal still, or he's on like a minimum deal. But
Yeah.
no, I'm happy with this. I like this team that they're kind of forming. I think that
I will. T-
I don't like I said.
Dude,
I
I'd
don't
be
think this
gassed up. You should be way more gassed up about
I know,
this.
especially the
Because
fact
everyone
that it's
acts
the fact that's the Nova Knicks too is pretty sick.
Everyone just acts like the Knicks. Like I don't want to get too hyped with you guys because Ace is just gonna be like, oh, they're not gonna beat the Celtics.
You gotta
today."
give it
don't know
back
if
though. I'm
they-
gonna do that every
This
time,
team-
even if you're good or bad.
This team was already really good. They were just injured last year, so now they add a nice player,
What
McCall
did I
Bridges,
say?
20-point per game
90
player right there. I think that they're in a really good spot. Yeah, but I think that they were already in a really good spot.
Does he get them?
That's what-
Like, how much better does he make them?
Dude, he averaged what 20 and 8 last year, Mackie.
I think he gives us a good series against you guys, and that's all you can really ask for because then 1 or 2 games goes the opposite way and we upset you guys. That's all that it is.
I just know
And you have
Jason.
OG
Jason the
you have-
good thing is Jason Tatum does match up well with him. I think he averages almost 30 points a game when he's covering. But it's going to be good. Then I think this is going to start the arms race in the East. I think a lot of other teams are going to start making big moves too.
Yeah, I was
Mackie,
kind of
what
hoping you
draft
were gonna.
pick did the Knicks have a draft pick tonight?
Yeah, they have 2. They didn't give up any draft picks tonight. They're in good shape. They really are, and it looked pretty
They
bad
have
with the 5
back-to-back
picks.
picks, 24 and 25.
So we
Yeah.
saw the Knicks make the big move. What team in the East do we think adds next? Is it Philly?
Sixers.
I think the Philly makes a big
The
move
Sixers.
too. Yeah.
The
Sixers are gonna
don't
get
make
Paul
a move.
George.
That's just absolutely ridiculous. But they're gonna take it. They're gonna bring in a guy like Paul George, who just
That's a
makes these-
stupid move. Like,
he just keeps teaming up with these good guys, and they just suck every single time. OKC can't do anything. You go to Clippers with Kawhi Leonard, who's a bona fide stud. He's a bona fide winner. He has 2 Finals MVPs. Can't do anything. What are you gonna do? Bring him to Philly where they literally can't do anything? Joel Embiid's another player who cannot get over the hump. So you're just gonna make 2 guys who put up the numbers but can't get over that hump and make $1 million or $40 million each year.
I don't know.
I think it's a bad idea to bring Paul George over there, but I think it's gonna end up happening.
yeah, I saw
think
some
it's gonna
rumors
happen.
today that said that it was heating up for him to go to Golden State. I was like, oh my god,
I
the
think that's a bad
nursing
idea,
home.
too. Dude, when are people gonna realize players like him are not gonna? They're not who you need to win a championship.
Yeah, especially
other
for
one-
the price you have to still pay him.
They-
You know?
You're paying them top 10 player status money,
And he's like top
and
30.
you're not getting top 10 player results.
Yeah. Once his
The
price
other one
goes
I
down,
heard was
he'll
that
be a
he's
good
gonna
depth.
go back to Indiana.
Yeah, that one too. Do you think they make another move? I know they just inked up Siakam big time.
I think that would make Indiana worse.
If there was one place I
Indiana's-
think he'd do
I don't
well,
know.
though, it's where he once was. I think that'd be the best landing spot for him,
I think
personally.
that probably would be the best spot for him.
Be a
Indiana's a
mentor to
team
the
that
young
had-
guys.
Indiana's a team that has all the right pieces and all the players that they need, and I think that when you bring in a player like that, I think it's just gonna kind of mess everything up.
But I think they could use watching them in the series against the Celtics at least. They could use that big body that Paul George has. He would match up well with some of those good players in the Celtics. But then again, he can't stay on the floor either. So I would be out on him personally. But I think if there's any chance of him regaining success, it would be going back to Indiana where he once had it and mentoring that young group and going along for the ride. But I'm excited to
Yeah.
see the dominoes fall. I think it's got to be hyped to see your team make the first big move of the playoffs or of the
Yeah, I'm hyped to
offseason.
see this team next year. I'm hyped to see this team next year for sure. I want to see how they. I mean, they're gonna gel together pretty well. I think the
Yeah.
chemistry's already there, but I'm excited for it. I want to see Julius Randle healthy with this team as well, and OG.
Lots of good stuff there out of the NBA. Moving over to the MLB with our power rankings here for this week. Coming in at number 5, the Baltimore Orioles. Number 4, the Cleveland Guardians. Number 3, the Los Angeles Dodgers. Number 2, the New York Yankees. And number 1, the Philadelphia Phillies to round out the list here for this week. Any comments on that one? What do you guys think?
My Red Sox are creeping up towards that list. They're sitting right inside the top 10. If they can keep putting some wins together, they went on that fat heater, took down the Phillies, took down the Blue Jays and the Yankees. Maybe they're legit. I saw it, Mackie. I sent you that thing that they might add Alonso, but I mean, are the Braves? They're also in contention to get back to the list. Mackie was the only one that really tooted their horn for a bit. Huff and I thought they were kind of dead to rights, but they're still showing their
Both
valid.
you guys.
And they're gonna add, I think they do add someone, actually. I didn't realize that the NL was that bad, though. It's crazy how bad it is. Both of your guys' teams having subpar years so far. I guess different lenses to look at your
I think
teams.
I think we were 8 games under at one point and only like 2 games out of like a wild card. It was insane.
Yeah, and now you're a game out of wild card spot. Huff and Paul Skeens are out of a game or two out of there. Kind of wide open. So I'm eager to see who's a buyer and a seller in the NL. That's what's going to be interesting to me. Because in the AL who's buying. The AL East is buying. In the NL, I don't know. Astros coming back to life too, by the way. I don't know if anybody's noticed that.
I
Yeah.
haven't paid attention. Yeah, they're on a 7-game heater right now. I hate the Astros, so I kind of wanted to see them fall, but that team was going to pick it up.
They're getting, what's his name? Is it Luis Garcia, the starter back? Is that his name? He's coming back to the mix soon. Or is it? Let me see. Yeah, Luis Garcia. He's going to be reinstated. He's on the rehab assignment right now. He's one of the top arms. Spencer Arrighetti, the rookie, threw a 10K 7-inning gem today. And the bats are coming to life. And you got to think they add too. Big market team. Mariners will add. So Mariners is a good team too, though. I mean, they won again today. We missed them on the card with the first 5, but they're looking to do some more damage. I think they'll add more bats. I'm just hyped for this trade deadline. I want to see who buys and who sells. I need to see who's getting on the move.
So, like, looking at it right now, Ace, I want to get your opinion on this National League wildcard race because, like, obviously, Mackie, the Mets and Pirates are sitting right there. You're a game and a half back. We're 2 games back of a wild card spot right now. But like, what do you think? Arizona, like San Diego? I don't think either.
I'm a San Diego believer, and I'm a big San Diego believer. But I'm a
and then
big.
Wait. Let me say this too: the 2 teams right behind them, Washington and San Francisco, I think are.
I'm not a fan of San Francisco at all. I mean, they do have Blake Snell, who's back into the rotation.
You guys are both high on them.
Yeah, no,
both
but
you guys were at the beginning of the season. You guys both like the Giants.
Yeah, but I think they would finish around the same spot in the wild card cusp. It's like
Mackie, they're just always they're always underwhelming. I'm more just a fan of that franchise. I do think
I like their pitching staff though.
They're sitting right around 500, but
Huff, if they get into a play-in type game though, and you have Logan Webb and Blake Snell, that's not a bad scenario to be in. And they oddly buy a lot. Helio Ramos, I don't know if you guys know who he is. He's really jumped onto the scene for them. He's been a top bat, fringe all-star. And then they have one of the best. They have one of the best closers in baseball with Duvall. So I mean, that team you can't count out. But that Diamondbacks team, they were there last year, and they're pretty loaded. Corbin Carroll's starting to get good again. They have a good hitting lineup. But then that staff is what really intrigues me. They have Brandon Pfaadt. They have Zach Gallen.
I could see the Cardinals be buyers. They haven't.
I think they're selling
in a while. Really?
Yeah, I do.
They're
I think
in the best spot right now.
Yeah, I know, but I think they're gonna sell. I think Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt. Those are 2 pieces I would look to move because they're underwhelming. And I don't even know if that's selling as in selling your season, but I think they should move on from at least one of those veteran pieces if they can. Arenado been in and out of the lineup.
I would love Goldschmidt.
Yeah, I think that's the lesser of the 2 that would be moved, but Arenado I would. But how do you move those guys?
I'm saying as a Pirate fan, like if I could put one of them on my team, I mean we have Hayes at third base, so we don't really need a third baseman.
No, Arenado. Goldschmidt plays first base, and you got Connor Joe there, but you can fit Goldschmidt in there anywhere. You guys need a DH.
It's always Connor Joe or Tellez. Tellez has been pretty good the past week.
Yeah, he has been. He hit a home run today. But no, I mean, it's pretty interesting. I think that the D-backs and those Padres, I think the Padres still have a really high ceiling. Their team is so stacked. How can they not be good, They brought in Luis Arias too. That was a great move early on in the deadline. You said that the Nats
so good.
You said the Nats are right outside of it too. I mean, they just have young guys that keep coming up for pitching. They have all these prospects. They have Josiah Gray, Cade Cavalli coming back. Mackenzie Gore's been solid this year. Mitchell Parker came out of nowhere. So they're primed for it too. It's going to be a fun race to watch. Your team, I mean, with Paul Skeens on the mound, he's just injected life into that whole organization and some believability. So it could really be anybody. The Reds are pretty good. The Cubs, I know they suck now, but I still think they can turn the corner and right the ship. They need the All-Star break more than anybody in the world. But it's going to be a fun NL wildcard race to watch because it's so tight. Not an electric one. Not great talent. I don't know if any of these wildcard teams will make noise, but
that's fine. This is the kind of year the Pirates can sneak in.
Yeah, Exactly. So we'll see. Meanwhile, my Red Sox are fighting tooth and nail with a great season, barely in a wild card spot. So
Yeah, you got Kansas City right on your ass.
right, and they're what are we like 7 or 8 games over 500?
43 and 37.
Yeah, so 6 games. So we're right there. But no, let's get into some of this All Star Game stuff because I got the bracket up here. I just sent it to you guys, but just if you want to introduce this.
Yeah, curious what you guys are thinking. Any of your selections for the All Star game? I believe Ace sent over the ballot thing, the voting thing.
Yeah, you just click that link. We can kind of follow along as we do it. I can kind of take the lead here. If you guys let me know when you got that.
Go for it.
Yeah, when you guys got that up, we can kind of look through it. I've already filled out a few of my brackets, but in the AL,
Yeah, I already did this. I think I screenshotted it. Let me see if I saved mine.
yeah, if not, we can look through and kind of do it live a little bit now. But in the AL, I'm going with Vladdy Guerrero Jr. He had a down year. Remember, people were talking about dealing him. I said I would never trade Vladdy, and he's up to almost a 290 batting average. He's got 10 homers, 40 RBIs. He's a face of the league, in my opinion, with the Vladimir Guerrero namesake. That would be my pick to go there. If not, I go with Josh Naylor just because I'm a big fan of home runs. I love the long ball. Chicks dig the long ball too. So, I mean, 20 home runs, 58 RBIs. I know his average is pretty low, but that's pretty nice to me. Mountcastle, I think he's just getting the votes because he's on that top Orioles team. But I'm gonna go with Vladdy, and then for the NL side, big Dodgers guy I am, but I'm gonna go with Bryce Harper. I mean, that guy's just great. How do you not pick him? Any objections to Vladdy or Harper? Who would you guys go with?
I have the same two people. I'm
Yeah,
already
yeah.
I'm at third base, but you're preaching to the choirs. Keep going.
Yeah, I got Altuve coming in at second base. I know people hate the Astros, but he's been having a great year. The little midget trash can man, batting over 300, getting it done every day. And like Mackie said, he's leading them on that heater. So he's my AL pick at the two bagger. And then in the NL, I'm going to go with Luis Arraez. I know that he doesn't put up the pop, but he bats over 300. So consistent. Guys on base every game. I don't know how you can't get him there. In the NL, for third base, I'm going to go to Jose Ramirez. I want to go with my guy, Rafi Devers. I voted for him personally a few times, and I hope he gets in a fan vote or as a bench guy. But Jose Ramirez is having a great year. He's already at 72 RBIs, and we're not even at the halfway point in the season. And that's why the Guardians are so good. And then the NL.
See, I treat this like a fan vote. I'm like, I don't give a fuck what they want me to pick. I'm like, I'll be the one that votes for chaos.
Yeah,
What
but
about Royce Lewis batting 329 with a 1192 OPS?
yeah, that's kind of crazy. I'd like to see more pop, though. Only 14 RBIs. I don't think he's played in too many games. That's the other thing. He's in and out of the lineup a lot. My picks would be Ramirez and then Devers. I think they're the two best third basemen in the American League. They're having great years. In the NL, it's a little bit closer. A lot of those Phillies fans putting up Alec Baum. I like Manny Machado personally. That would be my pick. I like Ryan McMahon too. He's not getting too many votes. I actually would go with Ryan McMahon would be my pick from the Colorado Rockies. Mainstay in the lineup. That's third. But who do you guys got at third base in the NL? Because that's a little tough one to go a few different ways.
Who did I
You
go?
gotta go Bohm over Machado, but I think Machado's a safe second option.
I did Manny. I'm a Machado guy.
I think I'd rather see Machado in the All Star game. We'll go with Bohm, but I think Ryan McMahon is slept on one, but out in Colorado, you know. And then here's probably the most heated debate I think in the whole league: shortstop in the AL, is it Gunnar Henderson or Bobby Witt?
It's a great question.
Me as a fan, I put
Bobby Witt.
because I like him better than both of those guys.
You put who?
I put
Volpe.
Volpe.
Over Gunnar Henderson and Bobby Witt.
This is fan voting, bro.
Gunnar Henderson and Bobby Witt are the coolest, most electric players in the AL right now.
I'd go Gunnar, I think.
Yeah,
I think I'd go Gunnar.
He's got more home runs, right? He's got 25 home runs, dude. Like, come
Bobby
on.
Witt is such a
Puff,
dog.
what are Volpe's stats here? He's got 6 home runs. That guy stinks.
Well, he's a shortstop. Shortstops don't hit home runs.
He's a
Trey Turner's only got 3.
Yeah, but when you see, I mean, look at Corey Seager. He's having a good year. I'd take Correa over Volpe, but Bobby Witt Jr. That's my pick. I don't know. It's Gunnar, I guess, but they're both gonna be in the All Star game. Yeah, I'll go with Gunnar Henderson. Bobby Witt Jr. is so fucking good. In the NL, it's Mookie Betts. It's how is it not?
Well, Mookie's injured.
Yeah, I know. So like, I'd still vote for him because I want him to get that All Star selection. But if not, I'm gonna go with Ellie De La Cruz just because he's electric. The stolen bases too. You guys have any objection to that, or who else are you looking at out there?
Lindor. I'd go Lindor.
Yeah, he's having a good year. He's got that pop going in the bat. Still
He's just having a really good
he's having a Lindor year.
He had a terrible start to the season. He's starting to pick it up. He's playing, and he's honestly the best defensive shortstop in the game. You can make an argument, but he is the best defensive shortstop in the game, and he's putting up decent numbers.
He's hitting bombs.
250. I know it's not the best. At 13 home runs, can't complain.
My pick's gonna be Mookie Betts for us here, but Yeah, I
Trey
think
Turner?
since he's hurt, Trey Turner's barely been on the field all year long. He hasn't played at all. He's been out for so long. Just came back in the lineup last week. I would go with Ellie though. I think he's so hyped up. He's got all those stolen bases. He's got to be leading the league or close to it, right? Um, and I know his defense is kind of lackluster, but he's a stud. AL catcher, easiest pick of all time, Adley Rutschman. NL catcher, this one's a little bit interesting. My pick was Will Smith when I first started filling this out, but Contreras is like the consensus catcher in the NL. I don't know if you guys object to that at all.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm a big Will Smith fan, but I'm a Dodgers
Francisco
fan.
Alvarez is playing well too, but he was injured for a little while.
Yeah, like I got to give it to guys who have been on the field a lot. And then in the AL for the outfield, Judge Soto, automatic. I hate the Yankees, but they're automatic to get onto your roster. And then for your third pick, I would go with Kyle Tucker. I know he's injured too, so he'll probably miss the All-Star game. So if either of you have a third guy you'd like to shout out besides those three, I think it's pretty consensus with Judge Soto and Tucker. But anybody else you'd see in the AL, maybe Adolis Garcia, but he's having a down year.
What's the guy for Cleveland? Stephen Kwan. He's been a
Dude, he's
dog
batting
all year.
385. What the fuck?
Yeah. But compared to the big dogs up top, Judge Soto Tucker, it's not even close.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
In the NL, top vote getters, Jurickson Profar. That's nutty to me. But I am going to put Fernando Tatis definitely in my ballot. I don't know about you guys. He's just electric and he's a great player. I am also going to go do we give it to Teoscar Hernandez? I'm going to keep
Yes,
loading it up
dude.
with Dodgers. I think he's great and he's batting in that lineup, especially without Betts. He's still doing his thing. I know he's on the shelf right now, but he's not on the IL. He's just day to day. Then for the third pick, I'm not putting Jurickson Profar in there. I'm not putting two Padres in my outfield. Who do you guys have as a third? Someone give me a
Christian Yelich.
Yeah, that's who I had too. I just think
I mean, dude, he's batting 325. He's playing good baseball this year. The Brewers are really good, so you gotta respect him there.
Yeah, I think Yelich is just the easy pick too. That's who I've had in mind. So it'd be Yelich, Tatis, and Hernandez in the NL. For DH, I think this one's automatic as well. I have Ohtani over Ozuna. Anybody have Ozuna over Ohtani? No shot, right? Ozuna is going to be in the All-Star game, though. He's batting 310, 21 home runs, 65 RBIs. He's literally doing the Ronald Acuna impression. So can't go wrong. And then in the AL, I'm going Yordan Alvarez. That guy's insane. So that's our list there. Maybe I'll take a screenshot of this, give us a little poster, something like that. But that's a good list there, and it'll get exciting once we see these rosters. I think the voting closes tomorrow, so we'll get the starters.
Don't you get to vote for pitchers?
No, I think that goes into the next round of voting, maybe.
I don't think. Yeah, I think it's separate.
Right now, I know this voting ends when everybody's listening to the podcast. Fan vote will be over, so we'll post our positional picks for you here. I got them on a screenshot for us, but it'll be interesting to see. And then the final vote is always fun in the MLB too. All the lobbying for that. So good list there, boys. A lot of good names to choose from.
Good stuff, boys, out of the MLB here. Some other sports news to cover. Scotty Scheffler secured his 6th win of the 2024 season this past weekend with the win at the Travelers Championship. Scheffler defeated Tom Kim in a playoff to secure his 6th win. What are we thinking about this one here? Scotty just on a roll. What do we think?
Was anyone watching this and saw the protesters storm the 18th
Yeah.
green?
And they had to move the
I
hole,
actually
didn't they?
see it.
Yeah. I'd be
That's
pissed if
crazy.
I
I
lost
I think that's
that
the
way,
first
but
time I've ever seen that happen at golf.
I
believe
mean,
that.
yeah, I can say that.
I'm sure it's
I
probably
saw it.
happened,
I think it's happened I want to say before our lifetime.
but
like
not
when-
that extreme where they had to move the hole, right?
probably not, right?
I saw he
people
was.
have definitely protested at golf events before. I remember it, but not in our lifetime, I don't think.
I saw he was putting next to red spray paint and shit. I was like, how are they letting this happen?
Literally, with millions of dollars on the line.
Yeah.
Scotty Scheffler is such a dog. I mean,
He's so good.
how long until he's in GOAT status? How many more years do you got to do it?
Dude, he's on pace for, I forget how many wins they said he's on pace for, but Tiger at this point of the year that he got, I think it was 12 wins or 9 wins. At this point, Tiger only had 4.
Yeah, so if he doubles up, would that be history?
If he gets to
what's
10,
the most
that's-
in a year?
Let's see. Most wins in a year on the PGA Tour.
He's having one of the best years we've ever seen, but in
And
terms
he's
of
literally
his
going
tour-
through, and he literally got arrested before one of his. He went into a jail cell. He had at least one child during an
One.
event too. So
The most wins is 18 by Byron Nelson in 1945. Let's see what
Alright,
Tiger
we
did.
talk we
That guy's
we don't gotta
goated.
bring in
That guy's
1945.
goated. He was winning more than one a month. What a guy.
Vijay Singh and Tiger Woods are tied for the most tournament wins in a season with 9 tournament wins.
Oh, so he's beating that.
So
could.
Scotty
He could.
can get 10.
How many more?
You could get
How many more? Does
He needs
have?
to win the Open. He
How
needs to
many
get
more
one
does
more
he have
major.
this year that would count towards it, Huff? How more opportunities?
Let's see. There's a
a
lot.
good amount.
Let me see. Men's golf, PGA Tour. Hold on 1 second. All right, so I don't know how many of these events he'll play in, but I'll tell you how many more events there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 events.
All right. So do you think it's valuable to place him to win every single one for the rest of the year? Would you make money?
Well, he's
No.
only like plus 400 every time. Yeah.
Yeah, but you're saying do you think he breaks the record though? Is my question, because if he's sitting at plus
If- I
think
400,
he
he has
could-
to
if
win
he
3 or
did
4 more times.
The record, if he did break the record,
You'd be profitable.
it would basically break even at plus 300.
Like I
How
don't
many
even
times
think
does
he's
he need to
playing
win?
in
4
this.
more?
Yeah, if
I
he wins
don't-
4
I don't
more
even-
at plus 300, it would break even.
You think he'll be at plus
Yeah,
300
he's not
every
even
time?
he's not even
Yeah,
playing
bet
this
it'll get
weekend at the
worse.
Rocket
Yeah,
Mortgage.
you're
So
not
it's
wrong.
like
You're not wrong.
you can take one of those events away already. He's not even playing this weekend.
Yeah, so if
Right.
he's out of some of them, so Mackie, if he plays in 10 and he has to win 4 more, you'd be profitable. Might not be a bad thing to look into. Just always take the Scotty future to win it every time.
I think he'll win the Open. He fucked up at the U.S. Open. PGA obviously he got arrested. I think he'll win the Open. He got to get 2 majors this year.
That'll be fun to see. We got to throw some stuff on the card for that.
Alrighty, and finally, Conor McGregor's return to the UFC was supposed to be this past weekend. However, an injury has canceled his bout. Did you guys hear what the injury was?
Toe injury,
Partying
broken
too much
toe.
in Vegas.
Broken
It
pinky
was a
toe,
broken pinky toe. Yeah.
which is a lie.
Does
but
that mean he
whatever.
wasn't ready to
No,
go,
there's
or
a
was there just
picture.
like licensing and stuff?
Well, yeah, but he didn't. You know how he did it?
Oh,
What?
He was out partying.
well, I'm
Well, yeah,
not surprised.
probably, but
he probably got into
yeah,
a
but
fight
He
at a
didn't do
bar.
it like training.
Yeah.
I think this is a long time coming. I think just for the past 6 weeks.
You
he
think they were
wasn't
just he
doing this
wasn't
fight.
ready, so they just wanted to look for anything.
I don't think he's been training for the past 6 weeks.
Yeah, I don't. You're not probably not
And
wrong.
you know what I mean.
He's in the
Training,
media
training.
though. He's in the media though.
You're right. And
That's all he cares about.
yeah,
Dude,
that's
the
all he
Knicks
cares
have the
about. That's-
third best odds now after OG.
I saw that, Mackie. I was going to cut it and
Damn.
say that they're plus 750 now.
Dude,
Still-
they're just like,
I still like that.
I don't think there's value at plus 750 at all. I think that's insane.
Dude, they were plus 1,500 yesterday morning.
Once the rest of
Yeah.
the East makes some moves, you
wow.
got to see the lines, and then you might get a better one.
Alrighty. Well, I think that's just about everything we got here this week. Anything else to add before we get on out of here?
No, hit those books. Come on, we're green today in the
That's it.
MLB.
Thanks for listening. Yeah, 2-1 day today in the MLB, NBA draft today. So thanks for listening. We'll see you guys next week.